Adventure starts with the right gear, and it all starts at shackshop.us. From stylish women's swimsuits and premium camping tents to paddleboards, underwater drones, and dependable dinghies, we have everything you need for your next outdoor adventure. Whether you're exploring the water or relaxing on shore, gear up with quality products at unbeatable prices. Visit shackshop.us today and make every adventure.
Rebel Wilson wins defamation battle. The legal drama behind the Deb comes to a major turning point. Hollywood star Rebel Wilson has scored a major legal victory after an Australian court dismissed a defamation lawsuit brought against her by actress Charlotte MacInnes, marking a dramatic turning point in a bitter dispute that surrounded Wilson's directorial debut, The Deb. The case, which attracted international attention because it involved a rising young actress, a major Hollywood comedian turned filmmaker, and a troubled movie production, centered on social media posts Wilson made about events connected to the film. MacInnes argued that Wilson's statements damaged her reputation, while Wilson maintained that her comments reflected her understanding of events and were made in response to serious concerns. After a closely watched trial, Federal Court of Australia Justice Elizabeth Raper ruled that Wilson's posts were not defamatory and that MacInnes had not demonstrated that the statements caused serious reputational harm. The decision represents a significant win for Wilson, but it is also another chapter in a much larger legal and production dispute surrounding The Deb, a project that was supposed to represent a major milestone in her career as a filmmaker. Rebel Wilson became one of the most recognizable comedic actors in the world through films such as Bridesmaids and the Pitch Perfect franchise. Over the years, she built a reputation not only as a performer, but also as a creative force, interested in producing and directing. The Deb was intended to be an important step in that evolution. The musical comedy was based on the stage production of the same name and represented Wilson's first major feature directing project. Like many independent films, however, the production became complicated by disagreements behind the scenes. What began as a creative project eventually turned into a series of legal disputes involving accusations, counterclaims, and public statements. At the center of the controversy were disagreements involving Wilson, producers connected to the movie, and actress Charlotte MacInnes, who played the lead role. The social media posts that sparked the lawsuit. The defamation case focused on several Instagram posts Wilson made between 2024 and 2025. MacInnes argued that the posts portrayed her in a false and damaging way. Her legal team claimed that Wilson's statement suggested she had changed her story about alleged misconduct connected to the film in order to advance her career. MacInnes denied those implications and argued that Wilson's public comments harmed her reputation as an actress. Wilson defended herself by arguing that she had acted based on her understanding of events and that her statements were not defamatory. The court ultimately agreed with Wilson's position. Justice Raper found that the post did not carry the defamatory meaning claimed by MacInnes and that there was insufficient evidence showing that the statements had seriously damaged MacInnes' reputation. The federal court ruling was not a finding that every disagreement between the parties was resolved. Instead, it specifically addressed whether Wilson's statements about MacInnes amounted to defamation. The judge determined that MacInnes had not proven the legal requirements needed to succeed in the claim. The ruling also highlighted the difficulty of defamation cases involving public figures and entertainment personalities, where questions about reputation, public statements, and personal disputes often become intertwined. In this case, the court concluded that Wilson's statements did not meet the threshold for defamation under Australian law. Following the decision, Wilson expressed gratitude toward the court and said she was ready to move forward. The actress described the legal battle as a difficult chapter and said she wanted to return her focus to her family and creative work. For Wilson, the ruling represents more than just a legal victory. It allows her to continue building her career behind the camera after years of controversy surrounding her first major directing project. But the story is not over. Although Wilson won this defamation case, other legal issues connected to The Deb have continued. The film's production has been surrounded by separate disputes involving Wilson and producers connected to the project. Those disagreements have included accusations regarding business issues, the release of the movie, and claims made by various parties, allegations that have been denied or contested. The ongoing conflicts demonstrate how complicated movie productions can become when creative disagreements, financial disputes, and personal relationships collide. A film that was intended to celebrate new voices and creativity became the center of a public legal battle. The bigger Hollywood lesson, the Rebel Wilson case highlights a growing challenge in the entertainment industry, the intersection between social media and reputation. Today, celebrities, filmmakers, and actors can communicate instantly with millions of followers. A single post can influence public opinion within minutes, but those same platforms can also create legal risks. Defamation law requires courts to examine not just whether someone was offended, but whether statements were false, damaging, and legally actionable. The Wilson-MacInnes case shows that public disputes are not automatically defamation cases. Courts must carefully examine context, meaning, evidence, and actual harm. Rebel Wilson's road ahead. With this legal victory behind her, Wilson is expected to continue focusing on filmmaking and future projects. Despite the controversy surrounding the Deb, Wilson has remained committed to her work as a director and producer. For fans, the ruling may represent a chance to move the conversation away from courtroom battles and back toward entertainment. Whether the Deb eventually receives the release and recognition its creators hoped for remains another question. But for Rebel Wilson, one major legal battle has ended, and she leaves the courtroom with a victory.